This is Adventure Time, and so is this, and this, and this, and this. Over 10 seasons, it changed its entire animation style, over and over again. But why? One episode took almost a year to animate and barely looks like Adventure Time at all. Another transported Ooh into the most popular video game of all time, and fans still argue if it counts as canon. And a quiet little episode about pillows, that one secretly won the show its first Emmy. By the end of this video, we're going to know the answer to the question, how far could Adventure Time stretch its animation style and still feel like the same show? Before the style broke, it had to be built. We start with the pilot era. Scratchy, pure Cal Arts energy. Finn, or Pen, is a little rougher and rubberier. The designs are looser, and the timing is a bit different.
Algebraic!
When Cartoon Network picked it up, that messy aesthetic was polished for Season 1.
The lines got clean, the colors were flat and bright, and the animation was noodly.
Perfect for a silly cartoon about a boy and his dog.
Just ride on my gut.
But then the lore kicked in. By Season 3, the show matured. The animation had to follow suit. You suddenly see more painterly backgrounds, better lighting, and more complex movement. The animation was getting weightier to handle the emotional baggage. You can't tell the tragic story of Simon Petrikov with noodle arms, folks. Never afraid to push its core style in order to grow, this provided the perfect foundation for more radical experimentation. The first big test comes in Season 2 with Guardians of Sunshine. Finn and Jake get so obsessed with BMO's game,
BMO, this game is the worst!
They decide to literally jump inside it. The entire show switches from 2D into this chunky, low-poly 3D world, like an old PlayStation game come to life. It's still Finn and Jake, but now they're made of polygons. The frame rate is stuttery, the lighting different, even the end credits get a pixel art makeover. Why the radical shift? To visually show the characters were trapped inside a world with its own set of rigid digital rules. A new danger, and they had to learn the visual language of the game to survive it. But this is just a warm-up. In Guardians of Sunshine, the 8-bit style was contained inside the console. What happens when the digital chaos leaks out? Enter A Glitch is a Glitch, directed by David O'Reilly.
Anyone having any computer problems?
This episode is entirely CGI, no hand-drawn segments at all. It leans into broken geometry, jagged models, compression artifacts, and these really aggressive glitch effects. Looks like your computer is dying and taking the cartoon with it. It's like seeing Ooh through a corrupted video file. What's interesting is that under all that visual chaos, the emotional core is still familiar. Ice King is lonely and desperate.
Hi, princess.
Finn and Jake are trying to save the day. The visual style and the sense of alienation it creates simply raises the stakes. And the anxiety we feel is real. It's a unique ride, but it's also an episode where the show's creators want you to see them creating.
I don't have the patience for this animation junk. Whoever does this must have no life whatsoever. Oof!
They want to show you the love they have for their art. And if a glitch is a glitch feels like a nightmare,
Pahoy feels like a dream.
Finn, stressed about his relationship with Flame Princess, seeks refuge in Jake's gigantic pillow fort. He wanders too deep, slips through a tunnel, and comes out in Pillow World, a reality where everything is made of stitched fabric and stuffing. The animation style, while still 2D, uses soft pastels and muted colors to create a quiet, dream-like distance. This pillow aesthetic does significant emotional work. It allows the show to quietly jump through decades.
I wonder what Finn's up to.
Through marriage, old age, and even death. While back in Ooh, virtually no time has passed. That lifetime becomes a fuzzy, unreachable memory.
Huh?
Pahoy even won the show its first Emmy, which is not surprising.
A simple plot manages to explore ideas of escaping pain, fantasy fulfillment, and the fragility of memory.
And Pahoy isn't the only time the show does that slip into another reality trick.
Beyond the Grotto. Most of the episode is standard Adventure Time, until Finn and Jake pass through a strange underwater grotto in chase of the sea lard, and the whole world flips into a different style, animated by Alex and Lindsay Small-Butera. Outlines get looser and wobblier, and backgrounds feel more like abstract washes than solid locations. Like a trippy dream.
Hello, friends.
And the longer they're down there, the more colors start to blur together. They're losing their way and losing their identity. By the end, you crave that return to what is normal and what feels safe. From here, the show really invests in handing whole episodes to guest directors and studios and saying, okay, show us what your version of Ooh looks like.
Which brings us to Food Chain, directed by Masaki Yuasa.
Magic Man turns Finn and Jake into links in the food chain. Birds, bacteria, plants, caterpillars. The animation is loose, elastic, and super expressive. Lines wobble, designs morph, colors get more painterly and experimental. It feels like Adventure Time reimagined as an art house anime short. Its pure psychedelic fluidity and Yuasa's style perfectly illustrates the constant transformation and flow of the cosmic ecological cycle. It made the theme, everything eats everything in the circle of life, physically visible. Then there's Water Park Prank, animated by David Ferguson. An episode where Finn and Jake essentially bumble through a series of low-stakes, awkward mishaps, including pranking the Ice King.
What just happened?
It's done entirely in motion-tweened vector animation. The designs are flatter, movements are stiffer, and the characters are given big, wide eyes. It looks cheaper, and feels like some weird bootleg Adventure Time.
Which is less shocking when you realize it was originally planned as a 5-minute web-only short.
It has divided opinion more than any other episode. There was word that Cartoon Network themselves even tried to block it. Not only is the animation jarring, but the episode feels disjointed. For many fans invested deeply in the characters by season 6, it also feels like their depictions here lacked nuance and depth. None more so than Ice King, who's reduced to his season 1 villainy, and wants to turn the water park to ice.
Well, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to ask you to freeze now, sir.
Apparently for no real reason at all. Next, Bad Jubies, directed by Kirsten Lepore. This one throws drawing out the window completely. The whole episode is in stop motion. Physical puppets, tiny sets, real lighting. With the blizzard incoming, the gang make preparations for survival, constructing a shelter from found materials.
This is gonna take me all day.
Why does stop-motion claymation work so well? It brings a tangible, textured feeling to their isolated survival. The fabric of Finn's t-shirt feels like you could touch it. And those chip crumbs almost look good enough to eat. It's tactile in a way no other episode is. It took close to a year to produce, and it paid off with an Emmy for production design. It looks nothing like standard Adventure Time, but that's the point. It enabled characters to go to new places. Just think, Lumpy Space Princess, a character defined by high energy, movement, and petulance, was rendered in a slow, stiff, methodical animation style. This made her outbursts and overreactions funnier and more absurd. So, we've seen how style is used to break reality. Now we show you how it breaks hearts. A single photograph provides a window into a different time and delivers one of the most emotionally crushing moments in the entire series.
No.
We're talking about I Remember You. When Marceline shows Ice King a picture of his former self,
This was you, Simon.
we begin diving into the past. The colors are faded, muted, and nostalgic. By the end of the episode, we see the world post-Mushroom War, drained of vibrancy, rougher pencil lines, visually representing the fragility of that time. Simon is dressed in gray, Marcy in red and blue, but it's dusty, desaturated. The only color that pops is the blue of her tears. It's a passage of loss, sadness. The memories feel distant, but the trauma feels present. Like we wish we could go back and change the past. This time period is explored further in Simon and Marcy. The world remains the same, muted, earthy colors, as we see Simon's descent into the Ice King. The Ice Crown is full of color in a world that lacks any, a wonderful stroke of visual foreshadowing. Only this time we're introduced to another vibrant color, pink, and it is Mother Gum, the origins of the Candy People and Princess Bubblegum herself. Just as the world and Simon have fallen apart, we're given reason for hope, simply through the use of color and contrast. Ketchup also tells stories about the past. Bimo and Marceline sit down to trade stories. 3 stories, 3 styles. Bimo recounts his recent trip with Finn and Jake. The lines are light and wobbly, the movement exaggerated, and the color warm and hazy. It feels like a fantastical retelling of events, light, effortless, and weightless. Which contrasts beautifully with the heaviness of the next 2 stories, both exploring Marceline's loss. In the puppet play of Rockstar Girl and Lollipop Girl, we see Marceline working through her complicated feelings of loss and guilt towards Princess Bubblegum. While the color starts bright in pinks and greens, By the end, the palette is darker and cooler, gothic, representing the weight of her emotions. The third story, Moon Lady, is a pure fairy tale, framed like a little stage play with composed, almost theatrical shots and characters posed more like icons than real people. Designs are simplified and symbolic, as if you're looking at illustrations in a picture book. It feels like a myth, and a way to make Marceline's loss of her mother somehow manageable.
I think I've heard a story like that a long time ago.
Guest animators Alex and Lindy Small-Butera expertly used contrasting styles within an episode to really heighten the emotional impact.
And finally, here's a bonus one, the Minecraft one. Diamonds and Lemons is an official crossover special where Finn, Jake, and Ooh are completely rebuilt in a Minecraft-style voxel world. The tree fort's made of cubes. Finn and Jake are chunky little stacks of pixels. Some fans argue it's just a fun side thing. Others treat it like canon in its own weird corner. Visually, though, it's one of the furthest the show ever gets from home. In a way, it looks less like the real Adventure Time and more like the way the internet remembers Adventure Time, as skins, builds, and fan mashups briefly made official. So, when you line all of this up, what do we actually learn about Adventure Time's identity? We've seen it as classic 2D, as low-poly 3D, glitch art house anime, stop-motion puppets, and more. On the surface, that looks like a mess. Adventure Time absolutely pushes its animation style right to the edge. But the reason most of these episodes still feel like Adventure Time is that the emotional core almost never changes. Finn's still trying to do the right thing. Jake is still laid back and weirdly wise.
Having a girlfriend is hard.
No, being crazy is hard.
The world is still this post-apocalyptic fairy tale full of candy people and ancient ruins. Ice King is still lonely. Marceline is still working through her past. The look is a shapeshifter. The feeling is not. Which version of Adventure Time lives strongest in your memory? And which episode, for you, pushes the look too far? Drop your answers in the comments. Adventure Time doesn't just tell stories, it keeps redrawing them.